You know the former president, you've prayed with him, you've prayed for him, and I know it's not your role to talk about another person's beliefs, but what have you observed that might shed some light on that question?
Well, I have been a friend of the president's for, I guess, about 14 years now, and I know him well, and, you know, I think he is a person of faith, but I'm not his pastor, priest, or rabbi, Chris, to be clear. My relationship with him is as a political actor and as a political ally, and we are an issues organization. And I can tell you that when it comes to the issues that beat in the hearts and give meaning to the souls of tens of millions of people of faith, namely the sanctity of innocent human life, the First Amendment right to religious freedom and freedom of speech, support for the state of Israel, and defending the Jewish state's right to exist, and support for the traditional family, he's the greatest champion they've ever had. You know, I'll leave it to him and others to express his own faith, but I can tell you this, when it came to when he was president, our ability to have access, not only to him, but every level of that administration was unrivaled in my career. And I think that's why he got 84% of the self-identified evangelical vote in 2020. And I think, frankly, it's going to be higher in 24.
Okay, now one political figure who has no hesitation about talking about his own faith is former Vice President Mike Pence. And earlier this year, after the former president said that he thought abortion rights should be left up to the states, Pence said that was a slap in the face to the millions of pro-life Americans who voted for him in 2016 and 2020. Is Mike Pence wrong about that?
Well, he certainly has a right to his opinion, and he's a dear friend of mine and of our organization and of the Right to Life cause. But I think the reality is, the political and legislative reality is that in the short term and for the foreseeable future, neither side, neither the pro-abortion lobby nor the pro-life movement is going to be able to pass federal legislation. And for that reason, in the near term, what the Dobbs decision effectively does is give both sides a license to go to the states and pass the laws that most reflect their values. We've done that, Chris, in 21 states, passing heartbeat bills, passing pain-capable bills. That was the path to overturning Roe, and I think it's the path post-Dobbs. Now, having said that, I think it's absolutely critical that we make it clear that our ultimate objective is the protection of every innocent human life in the womb from conception to natural death. We care about the infirm, we care about the elderly, we care about the disabled. It's a true culture of life. We're never going to shrink from that ultimate objective. That will come as we build more support for the states, whether that is a federal bill, whether it is a subsequent Supreme Court decision that properly interprets the 14th Amendment as protecting life in the womb, or whether it's a human life amendment to the Constitution. That's our North Star. That's where we continue to seek.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.